Okay, so one of the jobs I should have probably done first before painting is to remove these two studs. So it's just a case of trying to drill a hole in there, and then managed to borrow a stud extractor kit off my friend Callum. So we're going to see how well this works. Okay, so there's the first one out. That's a success. So what I noticed is when I drilled into the remnants of the stud began to wind itself further into the block. So of course I knew at that point it worked itself a bit loose. So that's when I went in with the stud extractor, and that's pulled it out quite nicely. So let's try the other one too. So on this one you'll see that I've used a sort of chuck extender, if you like, longer than needed, but it's worked. And what's also good is to get a battery drill with an adjustable clutch mechanism, so you can get like a bit of a jolt going on the stud, and that just seems to sort of break it loose, and out it's come. So there we go. Two studs out, all good to go. Excellent. So tomorrow I'm hoping to go and collect one of those carports that juts out from the side of your house. Main aim is to give me a bit of a dry working space, really. And of course, when the car is finished, we want somewhere to keep it out of the elements. So carport across the side of here should give us all this dry space. It's basically from where I am to past the door, so about 5 meters long. So it's going to give me some good dry area to, you know, work on the engine, etc. But also a place for the car to be stored. So I'm going to drive up to Stockton-on-Tees tomorrow, a couple of hours, bob up there, chuck it all in the back of my van, bring it back down, and we'll try and get it back together. So yeah, that'll be fun. So there was one thing that I've realised, well, now that I've got the subframe in, is that of course there are some pipes that I need to feed down behind here. 3 fuel lines and 2 brake lines to the rear brakes. So I'm in the process of trying to get those pipes prepared, ready to go back in. Get the ABS pump, which I've just given a quick lick of paint, and the ABS frame a lick of paint, so that I can get that mounted in and sort of see where everything needs to go. Now there were some brake lines that may have gone and tucked right underneath here to reach the other side. I've got the luxury now of, you know, certain things are not here anymore, the AC lines, etc. So I've got the luxury of deciding, really, if I wanted to take brake lines a different route if I wanted. You don't have to be where they were from factory. So I'm going to get the pump back in. Obviously I do need to get down the back. I think there's enough room there, hopefully, for me to get those lines in without dropping the subframe again, which would be a bit of a pain. But hopefully, if I'm careful enough, I will be able to feed those back down. So that's my main focus at the moment. The engine is sort of sat aside whilst I look at this. So these are some of the old brake lines from various places around the car, which I can use to copy the various shapes if I need to. So they're sat there doing nothing. I'm not going to use these again, they're just here for reference if I need them. So when you haven't got a great area for doing all this stuff, you have to improvise. So this is a lilac tree in our garden, and I'm just using it as a dryer for these fuel lines, which I've tried to scrub back and paint up again, so hopefully they won't rust again. So these are the 3 which feed down the back of the engine. So we've got 1, 2 and 3. So they're here hanging out for drying, and then once they're dry I'll be able to feed them down and hopefully get them in without dropping a subframe again. So whilst we're out here as well, these are just things that I get in a lick of paint. So this is the side bracket off the engine, this is the guard around the drive shaft, and these are 2 engine mounts. One of them I had to drill out. So these engine mounts, they have a big screw coming through the rubber part from the wings, and then they have a location pin as well. So you get the screw and a location pin which holds them straight. And one of these, the location pin, had snapped off inside, so I've just drilled that out. That should be ready to go on. Now in terms of engine mounts, all I've done is I've got some replacement standard ones. I didn't really feel like I wanted to go down the polybush route just yet, so I just got some replacement engine mounts, not GM spec ones but reasonably good quality ones, and just saves me rubbing every single thing back down and painting it, because most of the things are just covered in grease. So that's them. We've got the rear bumper just sat in place. I could do with some proper screws, or some washers at least, because these screws don't quite fit as good as they should do. Now I haven't pushed these in yet to the side brackets. One thing about these side brackets is that they are like they have a a location tab, if you will. So if you hammer these in, bang, then they'll tuck in and stay in. But the more that you push them in and pull them out, you wear out the brackets and they just don't hold anymore. So because I know this is probably going to come off for the body shop, I'm not going to push these fully in, but it at least gets it out my shed for now. Just ignore that for the moment. So that's back in place, ready for the body shop. I'm not sure what else there is really. Underneath here is still the engine, which I've got the front half and the back half in paint, but I haven't yet cleaned the other side. So that might be in the next video. I'm having a bit of struggle to get on with things at the moment. The weather's not been great. Just been up to get that carport the other day, which may help with that, but I haven't got a chance to fit that yet. So it's slow progress, but little steps here and there really, trying to get things going. I think it's just about to start to rain again, which is great. So I'm going to sign off and leave you for another week. Not as much progress as usual, but we're doing our bit. Peace for now.